Exchange-traded funds, ETFs, are the most enduring investing trend in a generation. This century began with fewer than $100 billion in ETF assets and now counts $4.7 trillion across an ever-expanding number of products. 1. Expect growth to accelerate. As detailed in the full report, sweeping developments within the investment management industry are putting ETFs on course to potentially gather more assets over the next 5 years than in the previous 25 years combined. Point to global ETF assets are poised to more than double to $12 trillion by the end of 2023 and possibly reach $25 trillion by the end of 2027. 4 Trends are likely to fuel future ETF growth, especially in the U.S. and Europe. ETF investors are active investors. ETFs are increasingly used in portfolios to seek outcomes that differ from the broad market. Investors are likely to step up their use of ETFs as building blocks in asset allocation and as vehicles to deliver factor-based investment strategies that seek to emphasize persistent drivers of return. Investors everywhere are sensitive to cost and demand quality. ETF adoption dovetails with the recognition by all types of investors that costs can have a significant impact on long-term returns. Investors everywhere want the highest quality at the lowest cost. That means ETFs are likely to be used by self-directed retail investors and sophisticated institutions alike as core broad market exposures. A transformation in the business model for financial advice is underway in the US and beginning in Europe. Investors are increasingly paying wealth managers a transparent fee based on assets, instead of an indirect fee via brokerage commissions and retrocessions. A secular transition to fee-based advisory models puts a focus on lowering costs and using simple asset allocation. This backdrop could favor ETFs at the heart of portfolios. An evolution in the way bonds trade favors ETFs for efficient market access. The bond liquidity that many institutions once took for granted is evaporating. To facilitate large transactions, investors are increasingly likely to use bond ETFs alongside or instead of single securities. Download full report, 4 Big Trends to Drive ETF Growth, May 2018. NS.PDF. Copyright 2018 BlackRock, Inc. All rights reserved. 1 Investment Company Institute, ETFGI as of March 20182. BlackRock Global Business Intelligence. 3 BlackRock Global Business Intelligence. Carefully consider the fund's investment objectives, risk factors, and charges and expenses before investing. This and other information can be found in the fund's prospectuses or, if available, the summary prospectuses, which may be obtained by visiting the iShares Fund and BlackRock Fund prospectus pages. Read the prospectus carefully before investing. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. This material represents an assessment of the market environment as of the date indicated, is subject to change, and is not intended to be a forecast of future events or a guarantee of future results. This information should not be relied upon by the reader as research or investment advice regarding the funds, or any issuer or security in particular. This material is provided for educational purposes only and is not intended to constitute investment advice or an investment recommendation within the meaning of federal, state or local law. You are solely responsible for evaluating and acting upon the education and information contained in this material. BlackRock will not be liable for direct or incidental loss resulting from applying any of the information obtained from these materials or from any other source mentioned. BlackRock does not render any legal, tax or accounting advice, and the education and information contained in this material should not be construed as such. Please consult with a qualified professional for these types of advice. Transactions in shares of ETFs will result in brokerage commissions and will generate tax consequences. All regulated investment companies are obliged to distribute portfolio gains to shareholders. The funds are distributed by BlackRock Investments, LLC, together with its affiliates, BlackRock. Copyright 2018 BlackRock, Inc. All rights reserved. BlackRock Solutions, build on BlackRock, Aladdin, iShares, iBonds, iShares Connect, Fund Frenzy, LifePath. So what do I do with my money? Investing for a new world, built for these times. The iShares core graphic, Corey and the Corey logo are registered and unregistered trademarks of BlackRock, Inc., or its subsidiaries in the United States and elsewhere. All other marks are the property of their respective owners. 502,357.